Welcome back to the Unbiased Opinion, where everyone's opinion is biased, except ours. I'm Colin.
I'm Craig.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the rhino.
So we're going to be talking about the sixth and last, hopefully last, Sony Spider-Man Universe movie, and that is with Kraven the Hunter, which just came out maybe a week ago as of this recording. Not even, I think. Let's just get right into it. I don't think this movie needs any introduction because the Sony Spider-Man movies have been abysmal, and this movie is terrible. I don't know if it's worse than Madam Web, but it is pretty bad. Craig, what
I
do you
just
think?
I just don't understand how they keep putting out bomb after bomb, and they're saying, "Well, maybe the universe isn't dead. Why on earth would you keep it going? Haven't you lost so much money?" I think the
Well,
Venom movies had made money, but because
the
it's
Venom
Venom.
movies are what is keeping this pathetic franchise alive. Because I think it said on the Wikipedia page, the movies, there are six movies, and they have grossed $2.13 billion. But common sense says that that's almost entirely from the Venom movies because
Common sense, isn't that basic math?
let's see, uh, Venom grossed 856, Venom 2 506, Morbius 167, Madam Web 100, Venom: The Last Dance 475, and Kraven so far a measly $28 million worldwide. And these movies, they're not
Yikes!
exactly expensive, like 200, 300 MCU movies. They're all ranging in the 100 to like 150 budget, which isn't terrible. But my God, can they not? Does Sony just. Okay, they're just the worst, first off. But they're picking also the worst people to do these movies.
I don't understand why they're even attempting this. Who cares about these characters without Spider-Man?
Well, yeah, that goes without saying. I think for me, and then we'll go to Daniel. The worst thing about this movie is that it's boring. The first hour or so was such a drag. I was fighting to stay awake. Say what you will about like Madam Web. I think that one was boring in some parts, but that one is so bad that it was somewhat entertaining. This is just so boring. Them talking about Craven's backstory, I could care less, and it was just so uninspired, and it felt like a worse version of Man of Steel, and Man of Steel is not that good anyway. With like the origins telling.
Yeah.
It just felt like a giant waste of time. Like, oh, he gets his powers because he got almost mauled by a lion. Get some
Well,
lion
not
blood.
almost. He did get mauled by a lion.
Almost died by getting mauled. Even though I guess he did die technically. He gets some lion blood in him, and then Calypso's potion, and then he becomes Kraven.
So, Craig,
So
I
interesting,
just,
guys.
well,
well,
I was gonna say
yeah,
is
Daniel, you
I
go.
think I was gonna suggest Craig gives a plot summary in
Well, I
case
was gonna
people are not
ask
familiar
Craig,
with
or
Craven.
even you, Daniel, what is his origin in the comics? Is he just some big game hunter guy with no powers?
Yeah, well, see, this is the problem with Craven is he's not even truly like a villain. He his only purpose is just to catch Spider-Man to prove himself to be the world's greatest hunter.
Just to
That was like
catch?
it.
Like, is he a catch and release kind of guy?
I don't know about that, but Craig was it? He came to New York. He wanted to catch Spider-Man because Spider-Man was the world's greatest prey, and he wanted to catch him to prove himself the greatest hunter. It wasn't like
Yeah,
you know,
it's not like the other like Spider-Man villains where they're more like crime guys or just trying to, typical world domination stuff. He just wanted to
Yeah, like
say,
doesn't
oh,
Elektra want to
the
rob
half man,
banks?
half spider. Yeah.
yeah, like so Craven. It's not even like he's this like he has this like he's either like truly like this evil guy or a bad guy. He's just neutral. He just wants to hunt.
The thrill of the hunt.
Yeah, so it's hard then to like a guy like him, where it's just like, all he wants to do is just catch Spider-Man. And then, like, the number one thing that he's introduced on is trying to catch Spider-Man, and then you don't even have Spider-Man.
Yeah, go figure. Knowing Sony,
Yeah, the thing for him is like like his whole thing is like he hunts for sport. There's no morality, there's no honor behind it, kind of a deal. I feel like. Correct me if I'm wrong, Craig.
Well,
He just kind of
I think he's the only morality behind his hunting is I think he likes to take them with his bare hands. Like he was, I guess, a superhuman in a way, but nothing too crazy.
well, does he have
yeah.
lion's blood in him in the comics? I'm assuming
No.
not. Because in this
No,
movie, he is like, I don't, he is essentially like parkour man. He just runs around really fast and he can scale buildings. He's
See, the
almost
thing
like
is,
Black Panther without the suit.
things
Where
I
he
don't
can
think the
scale
powers
things.
were like if you were to judge him on his powers and stuff like I don't think that was that far off. I just think giving him like superpowers and the whole backstory just drags it down because no one cares. Who cares that he almost got mauled by a lion for being afraid to shoot it? Like, who cares? Most people would get mauled by a lion. That's not like that's something special, and he gets a special potion.
yeah. I this movie, I feel like it should have taken out the him being this like hero, and like I think it should just had him like just try to prove himself as just a hunter, maybe against his dad or something like that. I don't know,
Well, he's hunting the
but
ultimate predator, man.
No, he should hunt the
yeah,
ultimate predator, Harvey Weinstein. Craven goes after Hollywood. See, that'd be
Well,
funnier.
that'd be a better watch. But
Craven takes on
His
Diddy.
list is the Epstein list. Like Danny Masterson's on it.
I have a list. It's just the Epstein flight logs.
once you're on my list, you never get off.
He has a freak off list. But Craig, why don't you give us a quick plot breakdown? It can be very brief because there really isn't a plot. But Craig,
So after
why
that
don't you?
whole, so like first off, half the movie is his before he even becomes Craven. It's him being mauled by that stupid lion and getting lion blood in him. Then becomes Craven. He flees in Russia or Siberia, where his mother
Siberia.
lived. Yeah, then he hunts down the ultimate prey, man, and starts killing like drug lords or whatever until he crosses path with the Rhino, who kidnaps
Ye-
his brother. He has to find his brother.
Well, it turns out that it's not really a twist. I don't know if you could call it a twist, but Russell Crowe is Craven's father, and he essentially wanted to dethrone the Rhino because he's competition. So
No, from here on out, you gotta say the
no, I'm not,
Rhino.
that's gonna get annoying. So he tips off one of the subordinates of the Rhino to kidnap Craven's brother, who later turned out to be Chameleon, and they make so many dumb references to let you know that it's the Chameleon, so that Craven could then pursue the people who kidnapped his brother, and then so he could take out the Rhino and his creepy little organization. So the Rhino is played by the guy who was Billy in Jurassic Park 3. That's how I know him from. And he was also in
I didn't
Face
even look
Off.
like him.
Well, he had a terrible haircut and he had a wig in the beginning.
The
But
terrible wig.
in the movie, he said he went to that one guy in New York, something Warren,
Miles
right?
Warren, the
Miles
Jackal.
Warren, yeah, the jackal. And he got this thing that turns his skin rock solid, apparently like rhinos. And I was telling to Craig, I don't think rhinos are bulletproof because they
Well,
shoot.
well, that was so creepy when he said that. He's like, said Dimitri, he's like, it made my skin impenetrable like a rhino. I'm weirdly smiled at him. I was like, what the?
Yeah, the guy was weird.
I was like, that's kind of in poor taste. I was like, aren't rhinos like on the brink of extinction due to being shot and
Yeah.
hunted down?
It doesn't make any sense, does it, Daniel? But so his weird little, I guess you could call it a skin condition. It is so powerful where it covers his whole body, but then it knows to make two horns at the top of or at the crown of his head. Why not? Like, I mean, obviously it would look weird if he was just some guy with rhino skin running around. But the CGI, this goes without saying, because this is the case in all of these Sony movies, is how terrible it is. I took pictures of the movie theater when Rhino was on, and I don't know if I could show it on the
Show it.
podcast because Sony could probably copyright
Make sure it's
strike me or something.
transformative. I
They
feel
should-
like a funny mustache on it.
They sue you. That's how they make their profit for this film. It's a lawsuit against you.
But trust us. I mean, you could probably look online too, and I saw it on YouTube before. So I was telling this to Craig too. I didn't see anything related to this movie at all. Nothing related to the Sony Spider-Man movies on YouTube. Nothing. And I got a recommendation for Kraven vs. Rhino at the end. And then the thumbnail of the video was Rhino, and he looks so bad. Which begs the question, what is the better way of doing Rhino? Is it the mechanical suit with guns, or is it this? Because it would look weird. Like, I guess you could say we're not naive enough to think that you could just have some like goon in a Rhino suit. That'd look weird in live action. So what do you do, really? Is he mutated like how they did it in the Amazing Spider-Man video game? Like he has Rhino DNA in him? I don't know. Like,
I don't know why we don't just stick with the comics. I mean, it's I know you could say it's silly, but I mean, all the things that run around in comics is really the worst thing in the world. Yeah, man, got like rhinos. Like,
Honestly,
hard
yeah,
skin and, like,
I was
the
going to
rhino
say
blood.
his original design is probably his best. You know, he has the human face sticking out with the like I think it's like a polymer suit, like skin tight on him. You know,
skin tight.
I mean, essentially, I think it's like fused or something like that, like to his like.
How does he use the bathroom?
This is true. Maybe he has like a system in there.
Well, now you know why.
Diaper.
Well, now you know why he's so angry all the time.
I just saw this picture of the rhino.
The rhino.
I mean, I would stick with their because I feel like everyone's like, they always got to reinvent the wheel. It's like, can't you just stick with how it originally was? I mean, granted, I guess it'd probably balloon the budget if he was running around this CGI rhino skin, but you also don't have to include the rhino.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that's the easier fix, Craig.
yeah. I think the easier
my
fix is just not
only
doing the
guess-
movie.
That too saves you a lot of money. But my guess as to why they use the rhino is because he's Russian. That's the only thing I could think of. 'Cause I don't think
was
they
thinking
have.
more that in their logic, he's kind of an animal. So Kraven
Yeah,
is
like
an animal.
Craven. Yeah, Craven's gonna hunt him, but
Spider-Man has a lot of animal-based villains.
Sure, but I just think for Kraven, because they really play up the idea that he is an animal because he has, despite having lion blood in him, he has supervision like a hawk, where he can zoom in.
Tiger blood.
Or yeah, no, it's lion blood. It's not tiger.
I know.
So I don't know. I don't understand that. His powers don't really make any sense.
I'm sorry, just let me look at what I sent over.
I think we could show that. We could show that picture.
Sorry, you have to show it. But that's my guess. Because Terrence Hunt, like, he has the scorpion, lizard, vermin. He's got a few animal-themed villains. You can throw in Dr. Octopus, Vulture, Jackal. So I think it's just the Russian connection.
But there really isn't any in the movie, though.
Yeah.
Like, there has to
In
be
the movie?
Like, yeah, in the movie, like it doesn't matter if he's Russian or not in the movie.
You're right, it doesn't, but the Rhino is Russian.
Well, I know that because Paul Giamatti gave an endearing performance in The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Well, I'm saying I'm trying to get into the mind of these hacks. I'm trying to think why would they pick the Rhino as the main villain? And
Also, I don't know how they don't like this whole like like they should have just like the whole misdirection of like or subversion of like, oh, it's really his dad was the villain. It's like, why wouldn't you just do his dad to begin with? Or how he doesn't really have a villain. Like
his villain's the producers.
His villain is Hollywood.
I just think it's when Spider-Man is his, is the game, like where do you go from there? And then setting up the chameleon was stupid. It's like, well, what are you doing with that?
Well, I wouldn't even say that was set up. I mean, I guess in their mind, the brother can imitate anybody spot on to the point where it's literally like Russell Crowe's voice. He's dubbing, Russell Crowe's voice is dubbed over the actor who's saying it. But then out of nowhere at the end, after Kraven, spoilers, after Kraven commands a bear to maul his father and kill him, the little brother, he finally wants to prove to himself that he's not what his father's been saying to him this whole movie. And then he said he went to New York and he got a surgery from a doctor. And
You're the Jackal.
yeah, I know it's the Jackal. But then his face looks like the chameleon from the comics, and the chameleon has like a white kind of, it looks like a totem pole that's white, like those faces on the totem pole.
Yeah, it did not look good.
Well, yeah, again, it's like that translation from comic to live action. But it's
'Cause
like,
in the comics,
how
it
does
looks like
that
he has like a
surgery,
mask on.
how does that surgery work?
Yeah, well, because in the comics it wasn't a surgery. I think it was just he was just a master of disguise. Right, Craig, wasn't it? He would use. I think originally he would just use disguises. Like it wasn't. He was so good at it though. I
Yeah,
don't think
so
he didn't have superpowers.
I think
It was
he ended up getting powers later on, but originally it was just like I guess a generic mask, and he would put like makeup on and prosthetics to look like his target. And obviously he could mimic the voice. It's not like the most complicated like list of powers, but he's just like the ultimate spy assassin. He's not meant to be like a crime lord.
Huh, okay. Well, another character that I had no idea is a character that is from the comics is, did he even have a name? The foreigner. The guy who can slow down time for, I think, 3 seconds because he counts down, and then he could do whatever he wants. That guy was kind of wasted in this movie. He shows up, he shows off his power, and then he gets killed by Calypso at the end when he's battling Kraven. He kind of dies like a punk, is what I'm getting at.
Well,
So,
it almost
I have
seemed
a
like
fun
it almost
little
seemed like him.
story.
It almost seemed like logically him and the Rhino should have flipped roles. Like the Rhino should have been the goon that Craven has to get through to get to the foreigner, and he's surprised then at the end, like when he has to fight the foreigner and this guy has abilities. Like the role should have been flipped. Like having the Rhino as the main villain when in the comics he's just designed as a dumb goon.
He's just a brute.
As I was saying, if you look at the Wikipedia for The Foreigner, there's not too many edits until the character gets announced in 2022 or 2023. That's when, like all of the like, a lot of edits got picked up.
Wow, they're really scraping the bottom of the barrel. He first appeared in 1986. Okay. And yeah, that's. He's also a master of disguise, it says, because under the power and abilities. He has no superhuman abilities. However, he has trained his body to be in peak physical condition. He is stronger, faster, more agile, and has better reaction time than an Olympic athlete. He is adept in all known forms of martial arts and most forms of conventional hand weaponry.
I wonder if he would even be in that Marvel book that we had.
He
The
possesses a
Marvel
near mystic
Encyclopedia.
ability to place an opponent in a 10-second hypnotic trance through eye contact. Oh, so that's what it was. He wasn't slowing down time?
No, I think yeah, you had to like lock. That's
Yeah,
what,
it's-
like
I
what
thought in the
happened.
movie he was slowing down time.
No, it was like everyone was in like a trance.
Oh, okay, that makes a little bit more sense.
Was it?
Okay. For 10 seconds through eye contact, which makes the opponent believe the foreigner can move faster than the eye can see. Okay. The
But still,
foreigner
like they're
appears in
scraping the
Kraven the
bottom of the
Hunter,
barrel for these villains.
portrayed by Christopher Abbott. This version is an associate of the Rhino who is recruited to kill Kraven, only to be killed by Calypso. Okay, so I thought it was time travel, where he was slowing down time. It makes much more sense that he is not doing what I was thinking. Okay, that's better, I guess. So, Craig, what is something you actually liked about the movie?
Can I phone a friend?
No.
Well, the only thing I kind of liked was that the chase when he was trying to get Dimitri. Action was okay.
I was gonna say
that car,
the action
car
in this
scene?
movie is not terrible.
It's just the problem is the action. I thought there would have been more action.
Well, yeah, like the first hour is just his stupid backstory. Nothing happens.
Yeah.
It's just his father, Russell Crowe, talking down to him. So I barely watched any of the trailers, and I thought Kraven was going to have an accent, but he doesn't. Aaron Johnson is just doing an American accent. So that threw me off a little bit. I was like, what?
Yeah, that threw me off too. At a point, I felt like the accent went a little southern. I was like, isn't he supposed to be like going to school in in upstate New York?
Yeah, and his father lives in London.
Yeah, I was like, I was just confused by all of that. And like, I feel like Russell Crowe sounded like he did from Thor: Love and Thunder.
Oh god, I barely remember that movie. I think my mind like repressed that movie.
So traumatic.
The mind blocking it out.
So I wonder. So there's things I want to talk about with this movie.
Yes, Craig.
When he takes Calypso to his retreat in Siberia,
Uh-huh.
did you notice like the audio got really weird where she was talking and giving really flat lines, like they wanted to redub her lines?
I noticed that too. Like it didn't almost. It was like someone was dubbed over her, right?
Well, I don't know if you got real quick before to go back to Craig. Did you notice that when Craven is in the forest and it's that scene where they're shooting flares at him, they put in ADR of him saying like "oh no" or something because his mouth didn't move. And I wish that clip I could show that clip, but it was clear as day that they needed him to say something because his
Wait,
mouth
that's
wasn't
that's the same
moving.
thing. I wasn't sure if that was the right term for it, ADR, because I thought the same thing when he took the girl to the airport. Like, I don't think her mouth is matching, and it sounds a lot flatter. Like they just called her on the phone, "Hey, could you say this real quick?" And then hung up on her.
Hey, can you come in for an hour and a half?
Yeah. Yeah, that no, that I noticed.
Like this place is beautiful,
Well,
Sergey.
yeah, yeah. Because even I felt like at times too, like he definitely was him. I don't know if the Rhino was at point. I feel like there was definitely dubbing though.
And like their whole relationship was so weird. He
Well,
basically
she.
goes to her like, "I kill humans for a living. Want to help me?"
She's a lawyer too.
Well,
He's openly admitting crimes to a lawyer.
And she's like, "Oh well,
well,
oh God, I guess I
well.
gotta help
Technically,
you."
technically, Colin, they're international, so she can't prosecute him.
Yes, you can. If you commit crimes in England, she can prosecute you. I don't care if you live somewhere else.
His crimes were not committed in England at that time when he admitted them. I think they were elsewhere, Craig.
Is that the logic of the movie?
Well, I mean, first off, the fact that he even, I don't know, I'm just,
I mean, his father's a notorious criminal too. I mean,
but,
you're not exactly shacking up with the best guy. Well, I think it's because, well, that's who he marries in the comics, so she has to be there. And
well,
Is it
well,
actually?
yeah,
yeah,
they were like lovers.
or I don't know, yeah, lovers. I don't know if he actually married her, but yeah,
He
that's
can't
his
marry her,
woman.
Craig. His love is the hunt.
I mean, honestly, that wouldn't be that actually would make more sense than anything else they put in the movie.
That actually would have been an ending. Like they kind of flirt a bit, and then he's like, "I can't," I'm. But I
I
feel like then
can't.
they
I've only signed a one movie contract.
I can't keep doing this, otherwise it'll be career suicide.
But see, that's the other thing I thought too. This guy didn't want, not that I'm upset, but like he didn't want to play Quicksilver because, oh, I can't be doing these like dumb comic book movies, blah blah blah. And he signed for Kraven? Like,
Craig,
make it
the
make sense.
Craig, the paycheck must have been phenomenal. That's the only thing
I
that
mean, even with a nice paycheck, you think with the Marvel movies, after doing like three of them, you could like strong arm Marvel. It's like, hey, people like me, gotta keep paying me.
did he do three?
No, he only did one, but
No, yeah, he did
Yeah, I
Age
was
of
gonna say he
Ultron.
only did one.
he only did one. But if you look at the salaries of all the Marvel actors, they kept going up and up and up, and it keeps going up. Like, look at what Robert Downey Jr. is making. Granted, he wouldn't make that much, but the point is, you keep doing these movies, your salary goes up, and he quits Marvel to do this.
Well, I think we'd be remiss to
Oh, boring
mention
Soldier Man.
that this is Colin's. He portrayed Colin's favorite actor in any Godzilla movie ever known.
I don't think he's a bad actor. I think it's just
No, Gareth Edwards just doesn't know how to direct actors.
Well, that
That's
and
what it
then
comes
this,
down to.
yeah, and then this movie's just
Well, he's the least of the problems in this movie.
he seemed to be like at least like he seemed like somewhat committed to the
Well, yeah, he got shredded. They really like
Yeah.
showing him without his shirt off.
and they really liked showing him run.
Yeah, he's kind of running a little bit like Tom Cruise, but
But
instead of his arms coming up to his like ears when Tom Cruise runs, it was like
Yeah,
diagonal. It's like it was like 90 degrees.
yeah. But I think the whole Calypso thing shouldn't. I think just she should have been a part of the beginning, like that quick backstory on she helps him get his powers, and then I think that would have just been like that's where her that was it. I think just cut her off there because the truth is because I don't think there's like how many is there really that many diehard Kraven fans that are going to be that upset that Calypso was not fully involved. Like everyone,
you
I
don't
think
have to explain it. You could just say after he left, he met Calypso. That's it.
yeah.
Like there's
And-
like a 10 to 15 year time gap. You think he
Yeah,
couldn't find a woman in that time?
it's just a flashback of like them like holding hands or looking out at at the African safari, and that goes. But his real love was for the hunt, and he left. And then that's it. Move
I don't
on.
think we should have that narration to say that. That'd be abysmal.
You know, I'm thinking too, like I'm getting like repressed memories coming back, where we spent like the first hour of the movie. There's like a 5-10 minute scene dedicated to Calypso, like her grandmother saying, like talking about tarot cards and this is the tarot card, blah blah blah. And here's a potion, so if you ever meet anybody, you should give it to them. And then five
Yeah.
minutes later, she gives him that stupid potion if he gets mauled by that
Well,
lion.
I said this to Craig too. The little girl who played young Calypso looked like Zero from Holes.
I thought it was a boy at first.
I
don't
thought
know,
it
beating
was
up on child
Zero's little
actors, but-
sister.
I don't know. It looked like a boy to me at first. But anyway, yeah, that was bizarre because like her family, and then she's like going on some, going through the safari with her parents, and then she just for some
She
reason
magically runs off for some reason.
she
or
knows
saves.
she knows to get off the back of the car to go where he's gonna be after this lion who mauled him. Apparently, this lion has
After
killed
they heard gunshots too.
Yeah, and also too. Apparently, this lion has killed thousands of people. Like what?
Yeah, but the lion didn't even kill him. Like he brought him to Calypso. Like, what this lion's like some magical mystic entity. Like, oh, this guy's
I
gonna.
thought that's what the
save
movie
the
was trying to
Serengeti.
say, that it was some kind of ancient and special lion.
Like it was like some spirit.
Yeah,
You know,
there's the
so-
spirit of the hunt in the lion or something.
Yeah, but then his dad kills him off screen.
That was
I don't know, Craig. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
And like I
Yeah,
said,
that
all
whole-
this is coming back to me. Like how he. Really, I think half the movie was dedicated to his stupid origin.
It
You
was.
said it was like 45,
Yeah,
50 minutes.
yeah, like almost near the hour mark. They finally get back to
present day.
Raven after the stupid and overlong, origin story.
I think it's just they were trying to pad the runtime because.
Oh no, they
There's nothing here.
absolutely did not have. They needed a huge filler in their story. So
Well, I don't know if they wanted to pad the runtime because the Venom movies are like 90 minutes. This one's 127 minutes long, and it could have been 80 minutes if it didn't have that stupid origin story.
You say you don't think, but they did it. So I think they were trying to pad the
I
runtime.
think they thought it was necessary.
Oh God.
That's what I think. And, Craig, the only reason why I say this is because look what we're dealing with these Sony hacks, where they're clearly not thinking, they clearly are not doing the right thing. They're just the worst.
I'm looking at the credit list for all the production companies, and I'm wondering if, again, this is just how like money gets funneled in creative Hollywood accounting. Like, look at all these production companies on. Is that normal? Like, why is Avi Arad, Matt Tolmach, like all these production companies? Is that normal? Have like 5 different companies?
It depends if all those production companies are under the Sony one. It depends on the movie. Usually there can be a lot.
I don't know. I was
Because
just thinking like all these companies got
if
like a
you have
cut of the
like two or
budget.
three, some of them, I think one of the Godzilla movies, like Godzilla vs Kong, it's like I think that was Legendary and Universal, but Legendary paid, or no, it was Legendary and Warner Brothers, and Legendary paid 75% of the movie, and then Warner Brothers does the other 25. So I'm sure there's some kind of financing percentage for the movie that way.
I don't know. I wonder if it's like creative Hollywood accounting to like trying to think of an example where like, oh yeah, here's the budget. They all take a cut. Doesn't really go to the movie. They get rich off the movie. Doesn't make any money, and then they move on. They don't care what happens to Sony.
Well, it's just like uh, I don't know if Sony is naive or they're stupid or both, but it's just how could they constantly be writing these checks for these movies and think that it's going to be good? They should have stopped. Well, they shouldn't even started with Venom, but they should have realistically stopped after Morbius because the fact that that movie bombed twice is astounding.
Well,
And they thought to
like,
consider or continue with Madam Web.
yeah, I mean, like with Venom, it's like at least Venom had his own comic book run in the '90s, and he's a relative like more. Does anyone outside of like Spider-Man truly like know more like Morbius or Kraven outside of Spider-Man or Madam Web?
Especially
Like,
Madam Web. Like even like the diehard fans probably can't even name her.
I only know her from the video game, and she was in the Spider-Man 90s TV show.
Well, yeah, like she's not really this well-known character. Well, I
yeah, I
think
remember.
people
I
like her
remember her
because
more from the TV show. She had like that weird, like it was like that weird
She's just
dimension.
some paraplegic blind woman.
I don't know. People I think like to think of Kraven as some anti-hero, and anti-heroes are I guess popular these days. Like, oh, we can make a movie about him, but these aren't interesting characters.
For you.
Speak for yourself, Craig.
I'm speaking for myself, and I'm speaking for you as well. You don't like this either.
I don't. It was not good. Well, the problem is, like, if it was more schlocky, I would forgive some of it. But it's not. It plays itself pretty serious, and it plays it straight.
Well, see that's the like the strangest part of this movie is I thought at least it would be dumb in terms of like story and stuff, but I at least thought action wise it would be way more. I thought it'd be way more action packed, fast paced, and at least somewhat. If the action's done well, it's at least entertaining and serves its main purpose. But I feel like the action was abrupt. The CGI, especially, it looked horrible,
Oh
and it was
yeah,
just
that goes without saying.
I just was like I was just shocked at how boring this was. So I think like at least with Madam Web, there was the expectation it was going to be abysmal and boring. This I at least expected like some entertainment, especially like on the action side, and to be more engaged in it throughout the movie. But I was shocked, like how just how long it took.
I'm shocked.
So I
Well,
think
like
that's why
Venom
this
wasn't
one
like
it's
this. Craig doesn't like
yeah.
Venom, but at least Venom wasn't, or the second
Oh
one wasn't boring.
no, but see, at least they were schlocky, quick, and they were at least they had more action to it. It was at least more engaging. Like this was just, I feel like the action was just abrupt. Like, and then like they definitely could have like if because especially like where this guy got in shape and he's clearly doing it looked like he was doing a good portion of his own like stunts and stuff like I don't know. I feel like they definitely like with some of the action stuff, they definitely could have flipped out. Like just easy parts of the CGI, they could have replaced with like live action shots. Like I think because it looked especially like when he was remember when like when Dimitri got captured, he jumped out from the hotel room onto the building, slid down, and then jumped out. It was horrible. Not saying you have to do someone jumping there, but or like the water shot of him holding onto the helicopter
Oh
and
yeah,
dragging over the
that was
water.
entirely a digital shot. The water looked really
Yeah,
weird.
yeah. They could have not saying they had to do the whole thing with him over getting dragged over the water, but they could have done something. Not maybe him attached to a rig getting pulled a bit. just to blend it a
Well,
bit
they
more.
they
but...
did, because the underwater shots are real.
Well,
It's
no,
just
no, no, no. Not the underwater. I'm saying when he's getting dragged on the water because he wasn't fully
yeah, that
submerged the whole
looked
time.
good. So, Craig, what is another thing that you liked about the movie? Because what you're telling me is that your impression is very negative.
Are you sure I'm giving that vibe? You're catching my vibes? Maybe you're not vibing with me correctly.
Will you shut up and just answer my question?
I mean, the only other thing I could say that I liked was maybe some like the wide shots, some of the nature shots. It looked nice.
This is a trend I've been
I
seeing
can't
with.
say much.
This is a trend I've been seeing with all these superhero movies: is that everything is kind of muted. It's
Of
never
course,
super
serious.
vibrant, and it's just so annoying. You don't have to have color, like you turn up the contrast on a setting and everything is super popping out, but everything just looks so muted.
My guess is because this is a super serious movie for super serious adults, color is for kids. We have to mute it.
Oh.
But the fact he's playing a comic book character who literally dresses like a clown.
I thought because I was disappointed with that. I thought like they should have played more into him being more outside in the African safari and him being more like in the jungle and stuff. Like it should, like you're saying, it should have been more vibrant and like definitely more nature based.
Well, I wouldn't say vibrant, but you could at least show
Well,
off the
but
color, the subtle
it,
beauty of
it,
nature.
it should have been more scenic.
The subtle beauty, I think, would have been a
Yeah,
lot better than everything being muted like it's a Zack Snyder movie.
And they should have like played more into him being like seeing him like full shots of like him out just running, or like, I mean, instead of running through Chicago, why don't you, or London, not Chicago, London.
I don't think he was in Chicago.
Chicago.
Like, yeah. I just think in the beginning they could have done that instead of showing his stupid backstory where he's this awkward teenager. Like, why not, or him and his brother, like, why don't you just show him like in the beginning, like after he gets out of prison, like just do shots of him just going throughout nature and stuff, like actually immerse the character and for what
Show
he
him
is.
actually wrestle a lion.
Yeah, show him actually hunting people. Like,
Well, he did.
Well, and for the part, like, he goes into a prison. It was more like a covert mission. Like, he just infiltrated the prison, and then he's.
What I was gonna say is that I hated the little friendly, like, to let you know that they're brothers. What was it? Kraven would
flick
slap
the
him.
ear.
Yeah, he'd flick the ear. He'd slap him.
I told you about this. The little quirks they give characters to make sure that they're brothers. Instead of just saying we're brothers and act like normal siblings, writers apparently don't have any siblings and have to give every character a weird quirk.
Well, Craig, don't forget the amazing banter in Morbius when Dr. Morbius is talking to Milo and they're trying to riff off each other. It was just embarrassing to let you know that they're childhood friends or whatever.
I really don't think these writers have siblings. I'm starting to think that.
I think you're right too, because he just kept on flicking his ear and then try to have a callback.
That's annoying. I would not be endeared by that. I'd be very annoyed.
Yeah, clearly they never had a brother, because if I did that to my brother, I'd get punched in the face. Clearly they never had a brother, because the brothers don't act like that. They'd probably fight.
Maybe they had sisters.
In the ear all the time. I like got slapped. Like start like you'd shove them away. Like stop that. That's very annoying.
That hurts. Stop flicking me in the ear. You mutt.
Well, it's like it's the most painful thing. It's annoying. I don't want to
it's a nuisance
in the ear.
It's like a bug.
Yeah, it's more like something you do to piss them off, because it's going to.
So now that I'm coming back to this, when he got the chameleon surgery at the end of the movie, did he still have ears?
Yes, but not in the chameleon form.
Okay, I was wondering, what exactly does he flick? Does he flick like his the side of his head?
He flicks the little opening, like the little slit.
He can't flick his nose either. He's got no nose.
I just I can't imagine the process of getting that surgery for him. He says you're gonna look like a guy with a white face with no facial features.
Nanomachine, son.
I can't even imagine what that surgery must have been like.
So I was thinking about this too.
Removing all his facial features.
doctor, professor in New York City is giving away superpowers, and if you're a big enough crime lord, you can go to him. Like, wouldn't he be giving these powers to like the army?
Yeah, selling it off for the highest bidder, like
Yeah, defense contractors. Why would you be giving it to like, criminals? I just don't understand. And they're pretty useful too. It's not like he's giving them
You know what?
like the
Craig? I think
crackpot stuff at the back of the comic book, like
going
X-ray
off of that.
vision.
See, honestly, Craig, the Jackal should have been the main villain then. And like for some reason, like people are popping up like Kraven now. He has to hunt. He's trying to figure out where this stuff comes from. Like has to
Make more sense.
and he has to fight other versions of himself. That would be more interesting.
No, I would hate that because we've only gotten that in all these movies.
What other versions of himself, like other animal-themed people, right?
Yeah,
no,
like-
that would no. I think I didn't mind the Rhino because it was silly, but all these Spider-Man stupid spin-off movies have done that. Morbius fights another vampire. Venom fights three other symbiotes.
All right. So Kraven's a hunter. Who do you want him to fight then?
I thought it was fine with the Rhino.
Well, I'm saying is maybe not versions of himself, but maybe people like the Rhino. They're people that are getting experimented on, so he has to try to hunt these people.
Oh, I thought you
down
meant
now.
people like Kraven. He's fighting.
No.
Oh,
Like he'd fight the Rhino. He'd fight the lizard, the vermin.
I thought you were talking about people like
Scraping
him. I'm like, no, I would
the bottom
hate
of the
that.
barrel.
Scorpion,
Yeah.
vermin.
Is that the worst name?
Are they brought in the weasel? He has to go hunt weasel.
What if they bring in like Mole Man? He has to fight Mole Man. He's a Spider-Man guy, right?
No,
No, he's
I think it's strictly
he's
Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four.
Oh, is he? Oh.
So another thing that came into my mind, this one's related to the movie. I thought it was incredibly dumb where the foreigner's like, this toxin, it's only found in this one extremely remote region in Siberia, so he must be there. It's like, really?
Even though Kraven
It's
could
only
go
found
there-
in like this 1 acre of land
Well,
in
not even that
Siberia
too,
that
Craig.
he happens to own.
Ignoring
He
that
also-
logic, Kraven could just go there to get the resources and leave. Like that is
Yeah.
such a big hunch to go off of. That he must be here because it's only from this one remote area. No, he could just go there, get it, and leave. Like, imagine you go to that area and then he's not there. Then what?
Yeah, I would love to see like the alternate universe where they go there. It's like, where is he? It's like, what, you think he would be here?
Would he really be so stupid to stay where he gets his resources from and then leaves it at crime scenes?
Who would get caught with the weapon?
What's going on?
Another thought I had too,
Yes, Craig.
because it's a super serious movie for super serious adult men, and it's not for kids, because why would it be for kids? It's based off a comic book. Why is it rated R?
So they could show Kraven kill people in brutal fashion because he's an animal.
Like, I was just thinking the whole time, why is this rated R? There's nothing in it that's real. Oh, they dropped a couple of F-bombs. You can get rid of that. It doesn't have to be gory. You can show someone getting stabbed in the neck. It's kid friendly.
Craig,
I hate you, Colin.
I think they just want to, again, because we've been talking about this for such a long time when it comes to these movies and as Craig calls it, the man children, where they want to feel validated by watching something that's rated R instead of something that's like PG or PG-13. Because they think that's cooler.
I just don't understand why. I don't. There's nothing in it. There's nothing mature about it. Again, it's a dumb comic book movie. Why does that have to be rated R? You're not getting anything more out of
It's
the
not
story.
like you're telling the story of Deliverance. This is just a comic book movie.
It's not important enough or serious enough to be rated R. So, well, again, like I still remember our Deadpool or Wolverine reviews where people wanted Wolverine to be rated R so you could show them chopping people's limbs off. Like, does that really enhance the story? No. Oh, now Kraven can, stab someone in the throat and get more realistic
Craig,
blood effects. Oh,
I don't
cool.
know. I don't know. I would not have known Kraven as like animalistic until I saw him hit a guy in the head with a bear trap. I would have known that.
That's
Again,
because you could still show that, just not without the blood.
It's weird though, like for Wolverine, because people want to see him graphically mutilate people. Imagine
Or that
seeing
one
that in real
kill.
life. What kind of hero is that where he runs around and cuts people's limbs off and chops their heads off and stabs them in brutal ways?
Or that one scene where
Canada's hero.
Kraven's trap like pulls that guy into that like tree stump and like splits him in half. It's like, oh my god.
You have to spend time making that. Cut the wood, sharpen it. tie it, rig it, tie it so like when someone steps on it, it would kill the guy and
Like,
crush him to the
You know,
tree.
ironically, for a hunter, you'd think he'd want to be killing people the fastest way possible to put them out of their misery, but he chooses the most brutal and painful ways to kill people.
yeah,
None of it is quick.
That's a
Yeah.
good point too. Some hunter.
Yeah, he respects game. No, he doesn't.
Game respects game.
These poor people are suffering when he kills them.
yeah,
You could say that's what he's trying to do, but
yeah, when he like first got to that like remote part of Siberia and like those hunters, that like old guy and that younger guy, he kills the old guy and he just mercilessly beats the other guy. They really wanted to let you know that he beat the guy with his bare hands in the field. And I was like, what is the point of this?
of
Just
course he could beat him with his bare hands. He's got superhuman strength. You think that's impressive? I want to see a grandma do that.
I want to see Bill Shatner do that.
But is it impressive that he can bludgeon someone's face in when you're super strong? Like it's not special.
And his
Like,
feet
oh,
are
this
super
MMA
strong,
fighter
Craig.
can beat up a grandma. Who cares? Of course
He
they
was
can.
running on glass, broken glass, and bare
Oh
feet.
yeah. I remember when that happened, I was like laughing, like pointing, yeah, like I don't care how strong you are, your foot's getting cut.
Maybe Craig,
I
the movie's logic is that his feet are so calloused that maybe like a gorilla's feet, because they step on branches and rocks all day, so their feet are more hardened. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here.
Yeah, he's got feet of gorilla, heart of lion,
Eyes of
strength
eagle.
of whatever, strength of gorilla. Trying to think of all the dumb things that happened in the movie. There's one more thing I was gonna say, but I lost my train of thought.
The rhino was stupid. I know I already said that, but I just want to say it again. His little backpack too,
I know.
to keep. It was like a medicine to make sure he.
well, I
Well,
just
well,
thought
I
that
think I don't know if I remember if I talked about it, but him demonstrating the powers to those random people where they just shoot at him.
It's like they just passed
Uh,
screenwriting 101.
it was like annoying where he's just like, oh, he kept asking if they want to be a partner with him. That guy was just. I also was like, I didn't know what his game was because it's like he wants to. Like they're trying to make him like he's like insane, but it's not charismatic or funny. It's just creepy. Like this guy looks like he shouldn't be within like 500 yards of a school. He was given that kind of vibe.
I think he was just more awkward. I wouldn't say he's creepy.
I thought it was weird. But see, that small backpack,
He's not
I
creepy
didn't
like
realize.
Peg.
I didn't realize it was attached to like, was it the colostomy bag? I didn't realize it was attached to him.
Colostomy
I, I, I thought it was just like a biker backpack. Like he was really fit. Oh, this guy, he's really into fitness, likes to bike everywhere, so he has this backpack on him. That's the impression I got until I was like, oh, it's his superpower backpack. Cool.
It was cool.
Yeah.
Then they shot at him, and then he was immune because apparently
Rhino.
rhinos' skin are, like we said, are bulletproof. And I don't know how they're all going almost extinct in real life by this movie's logic.
Oh, now I remember what I was gonna say.
Yes,
I can't
Craig.
believe we didn't bring this up earlier. Shame on both of you and shame on me. When he got tagged by the foreigner with that neurotoxin, guess what his worst fear is?
Oh yes, the spider.
Yes, spiders. Like, oh
I
my, it's like, this
forgot
has to be a
about
joke.
that. Which makes no sense though, because he's scared of spiders. Like obviously, I know the connection, but this guy is not afraid of apex predators, but he is scared of spiders.
Yeah. They literally showed him in front of the Calypso wrestling a
Like
like
a
a
mountain
cheetah.
lion.
yeah, like a big cat with his bear. He's like playing with it. But
Yeah,
this
come
guy,
on, you little rascal.
well, the best is, and also too, then they're doing the flashbacks of like like trying to connect it to his mom, like oh the spiders, and it's like he wasn't there when she was in the insane asylum. How does he know that?
Why is it spiders? Like, why? You don't inherit from your parents' fears. It's not genetic.
Me or hear me out. Was it the lion's fear? And then when the lion's blood mixed with his, he inherited that fear. with the
Lion is scared of spiders.
Would you even be able to know what a spider is? I mean, it's a lion.
I don't know. It doesn't make sense, but here we are.
I just again, these movies are so bad, and again, we know what the connection is. It's Spider-Man. But again, why would he be scared of Spider-Man? The whole point of going after him is he wants to prove he's better. Like he's the ultimate hunter. He can hunt this, animal-human
I don't know,
hybrid.
Craig. Most hunters are scared of the stuff they hunt.
I mean, if I was hunting, you think I'd probably be scared of a bear. Those are pretty lethal. They're pretty
Well,
fast.
They're pretty
speak for
strong.
yourself. Speak for yourself, punk.
Wait, you chose the bear. So, is there anything else to add for this movie?
I I mean, besides
Oh,
wasting 2 hours of our life to the movie.
there's that stupid man should be the only thing that's feared. Like
Oh yeah, they kept on saying it throughout the whole
like
movie.
we get it. It was like it was almost as bad as that man is apex predator. Walter Siemens.
Oh, I wouldn't say it was almost as bad as that. At least he said that like once or twice. They kept on every time Russell Crowe was on screen, he said that stupid line.
I mean, it's bad in the way that it was just implemented. Like the fact that it's even a part of the movie. Like,
Well, I thought this was just way more shameless because of its repetition. I like too that his brother was like a lounge singer that was doing terrible covers of other songs.
and they were clearly dubbed. It was clearly like the clips from the actual song.
But again, how would you demonstrate his powers without basically pulling in the song? You're gonna have to do a terrible impression.
I don't know, Craig. He's the chameleon.
Well, if you were to demonstrate his powers, you wouldn't have the actor do a terrible impression of whatever the singer he was doing, or he impersonated his dad. You wouldn't have him like try to do that horrible Russian accent. Man is apex predator. Like you wouldn't have him do that. It would sound terrible.
Sergey.
Is there anything
But
else we liked or didn't like
There,
about the movie?
Colin, I'm gonna be perfectly honest. There was nothing I liked about this movie.
I thought Aaron Johnson was fine. I thought he was okay. Given
he's fun, but it's
Well, he
Given
was
when he
the
was-
he might have been he was not he wasn't offensive in any way.
Yeah,
Like he didn't.
well, he was dealt a bad hand from the start. I don't know why he would sign on to this thing.
well, Tim, that's the
he's-
point I made before. Why would you sign up for it? You could have had an easy gig with Quicksilver, and you sign up as Kraven.
Well, was it his idea to kill off Quicksilver? That was probably Joss Whedon.
I thought it was his idea because I thought he's like, okay, I'll do my one movie and then I'm out.
I don't know, but you should probably
Yeah.
look that up real quick.
Nah, we're gonna spread fake news.
I don't know. I feel like that's a Joss Whedon thing because he wanted to do so many weird things in Age of Ultron.
But the whole movie was set up to kill Hawkeye.
Let's see. Why did
Well, this is about
they
Age of Ultron.
kill off? What's his name again? Quicksilver. Okay, let's see. Quicksilver's killed off primarily because Marvel Studios wanted to avoid confusion with the existing Quicksilver character in the Fox X-Men franchise.
I mean, that could be the convenient excuse, but they're petty enough where I think they would have done it anyway.
No.
I mean, I think that they just wanted to introduce him. And I don't think he was ever going to stay around, if I'm being honest.
Well, I think the real reason is he poses the problem of he could probably solve most of their problems.
Well, it's not like we're getting off topic, but the Quicksilver in the Fox movies is so ridiculously overpowered.
Oh,
I
and
think
then
that-
the Flash as well.
I think that's why I think they wanted to avoid that problem too. Because it's just like, oh, why didn't you send Quicksilver in?
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
But they did film an ending with Quicksilver alive.
Did they?
That's what I remember reading.
Now, Craig,
So
are you
I-
just spewing more fake news, or is this true?
Yeah.
That
I
one
don't
I'm
want to
pretty
comment
sure
or
of.
speculate.
I will comment or speculate.
So right now, this movie has a 14% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it is not the lowest out of the Sony Spider-Man Universe. It is the
Jesus.
Madam Web. So hopefully this is the last one. I think Craig said that they might be doing more. I know there is
What's
a
my
spider.
source?
this-
I'm not gonna say.
There's a Spider Noir series. I think that's coming out.
Isn't Nick Cage in that?
I don't know if he's in it or he's voicing it. But okay, so after Kraven on the Wikipedia page, other films that were in development. I don't know if these are happening anymore. Uh, let's see, other projects. Sony was considering a film centered around Mysterio by June 2017, and December
Mysterio?
2018.
How
Let
was
me
this
finish!
movie?
December 2018, a spin-off film from the MCU Spider-Man films or the animated Spider-Man films, starring Spider-Man's Aunt May, was suggested, a notion that Sony previously referred to as silly. Sony has scheduled an unspecified film to release on June 27th, 2025.
Oh.
So we don't know what's next. And
You
I
think
feel
they
like,
do a Sinister Six movie?
well, I didn't see anything on it. It just said the last time they mentioned anything on the Sinister Six movie was in December 2018. So who knows? I know Silver and Black they did for a while, or they were trying to get that working, but I don't think that's ever happened. Now Silk, I remember they were actually one of my friends was supposed to work on that in November 2021. It was going to start production in January or February 2022. But that got canceled. So
Oh,
I think Silk is
that's got
donezo. 'Cause I think they're
connections.
trying to renew interest in Silk, but I think it's done.
well, who wants to see a Black Cat and Silver Sable movie? Anybody
Oh
saying
no,
they
these are
want
TV
to,
shows. Silk and Silver and Black are TV shows.
my point still stands. Anybody
What
that
was
wants to see
Silk?
that
Wait, what
is
was
lying.
Silk?
Silk is based off the character Cindy Moon / Silk.
So she got bit by the same spider as Spider-Man.
Oh my god.
It's stupid. It's really stupid. I think if you read the comic, I think it said it died right after. If it didn't, it's implied that it died right after because it's an insect. They don't live long. But it's stupid. It's nonsense.
So
Ugh.
the future is very bleak for the Sony universe, and I hope that it ends because all these movies are terrible. The only one that I would even dare recommend, and this is with like 4 asterisks, is Venom: Let There Be Carnage because I did kind of enjoy that. All the other ones are not good at all. You can skip them, and they somehow manage to get worse and worse.
But
Now,
they've
with
almost got a Sinister Six movie.
let me ask you this, boys, before we wrap this up. Out of the 6 movies, how would you rank them? From best to worst.
Oh my god. Uh,
Best to worst. I mean, no, we're using best relatively, right?
Yes. Like, what do you think is objectively the best out of this heap pile of slop?
um.
Oof. This is a tough one.
I'm all ears.
Ooh. I'm struggling over here. I'm struggling.
Okay, do you want me to go first? Maybe I can inspire you.
Yeah.
Okay, my list would be Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage. Oh, man.
That's it.
There's such a huge drop off. Maybe Venom, because that one made me chuckle with how weird and sweaty Eddie was the whole time.
Sweaty Eddie.
Maybe Venom 3. Then maybe, dare I say, Morbius is better than Kraven? So I would do Venom, Let There Be Carnage, Venom, Venom the Last Dance, Morbius. It's so tough. Which one's worse, Madam Web or Kraven? I would say Kraven is better than Madam Web only because the acting and everything in Madam Web was just putrid. It was so bad. So yeah, that's my list. Madam Web is the worst, and Venom: Let There Be Carnage is the best. What say you, Craig?
Oh. 'Cause I feel like there were tiers. Venom 1 and 2 are the best two.
Okay.
Then you get Venom 3.
Yep.
Then you get I guess maybe then like the next tier is the other 3 movies which are just abysmal. I guess Kraven's the best. Then what was the other one? Morbius.
Morbius.
I mean, that one was funny for the memes, but if you weren't living at the time, like who cares 10 years later? Oh, the memes. Yeah, no one cares.
I don't know, Craig. The part where Milo is dancing for no reason.
Yeah, it's funny, but
Wait, Craig,
was
do you
it?
remember when we were doing our review? And my suggestion was when Morbius is flying through the train tunnel, he just gets killed.
Yeah, he jumps and hits the third rail and
And then the
dies.
movie just stays there. The camera just stays on his corpse, and then the next like hour and a half, it shows the cop come in, you know, put the cross tape over it.
Yeah,
Like
so
a
just to tell his villains to get back for the
it becomes like a real noir-esque like kind of
Not even
film.
No,
noir,
it just
it's like you're watching CCTV.
Yeah, it just becomes they're filming a crime just happened.
They bring in the cast from CSI.
No, there's
See,
they have
I still
policemen
think about
come
our
in.
discussion, and that's my favorite part of Morbius. Our discussion with that him in the third round, just getting electrocuted and dying right there. That's all I think about when it comes to Morbius. Like I can't remember anything else about the movie except for it was terrible. Sony released it twice and it twice.
So, what would you put as last then, Madam Web?
I guess. I mean that's irredeemable.
God.
Everything about Madam Web was just terrible. I clicked on the Wikipedia page and the poster is terrible. For all the people who wanted to see it because they thought those different versions of Spider-Woman were going to be in it, they were horribly misled. Everything about that movie was just terrible. And then there was he was in the Amazon rainforest with my mother when she died studying spiders. Dana, what's your tier list for the Sony Spider-Man Universe movies?
I think I would agree with Craig. Craig, would you put Venom
Ooh.
1 or Venom 2 as the top?
To be honest, I can't remember either one all that much.
Venom 2 was shorter and it had Carnage.
I guess Venom 2. To be honest, we said like these movies where I knew I wasn't gonna like. I don't remember them all that much. It's in
Well,
one year at the other.
yeah. I might put Venom 1
Really?
as yeah.
Wow, that's
Just
shocking.
just because like you said, it's just like how sweaty Eddie was the whole time.
Sweaty Eddie.
His gray sweatshirt was always stained with sweat. It was disgusting. Oh, Craig, I forgot. There's one thing that you forgot, and then we all forgot until the very end, which is fitting because it's in the very end of the movie. Kraven, when he is bequeathing his father of his possessions, he
Oh.
goes to the mansion in London.
Oh
grabs-
yeah.
I guess you could say, I'm using iconic in quotations here, but the iconic Kraven vest that's made of lions or whatever. And then he sits on that chair, and from the mirror you could see him posing like how Kraven does.
But is that even a Kraven pose? I don't really remember Kraven posing like
I
that.
don't know, Craig. I just
I remember the
imagine.
Black Adam pose, which, all the man children clapped at that. Yeah, I mean, he does pose
Was
like
it
that, but it's not really that
was it
iconic
was
to
that
him.
was that from
Well,
a
I
specific
said
comic?
iconic
Was that
in
from a specific
quotations.
comic though, Craig?
I mean, if I had to guess, maybe Kraven's Last Hunt, but I don't really remember. Because this isn't as widely distributed as that Black Adam one. The Black Adam one I've seen tons of times.
Well,
I've
The
never
Rock
seen that
did it
Kraven
too.
pose.
Yeah. But that's how the movie ends. There is not any post-credit scenes, thank God. Because Craig and I, we looked on our phones and we're like, oh my God, is there any? I don't want to sit through any more of this.
And of course, the internet was down, so we couldn't couldn't check it quickly.
But yes, I would say don't see this movie. Let it bomb. Don't even have any memes with it. Let it die like an animal, like a bug.
Just curious, when you guys saw it, was your theater completely empty?
We also saw it at a weird time, also.
Yeah, but it was basically empty.
Yeah, it was like
So not
us.
completely empty.
Nice,
People.
nice. Oh no, mine was completely empty.
Oh God.
Just-
But I would not recommend this movie. I would stay away, far away as possible. It has a 14%, a 5.5 out of 10 on IMDb. I don't even know what its Metacritic rating is, so it is getting universally panned by every critical landscape out there. Don't see it. It is embarrassing. It is boring, uninspired, dull. Nothing is redeemable about it. Even the schlocky stuff with the rhino, and he looks terrible. Don't see it. What about you, Craig?
Obviously, don't see any of these movies. I think they're just made. I know we talk about other movies like this, like The Joker. Why would you make The Joker? It turned out okay. Why would you make Cobra Kai? It turned out okay. But those are the exceptions. Most of the time, you get movies like this. It is a terrible idea and it is terribly executed. A waste of your time. Do not watch it. Like I said, don't even watch it for the memes. It is not worth it. It's going to be on streaming in a month or so anyway, so you can just wait the month and get it for free.
Daniel, real quick, what did you think? What's your summarizing opinion?
If you are having trouble sleeping, or maybe you really just want to end it all, go see this movie.
Oh man, I wouldn't say that. But yeah, that's our episode. Don't see this stupid movie. We will see. Oh, I forgot my little outro. This has been the Unbiased Opinion, where everyone's opinion is biased except ours. Colin.
I'm Craig.
And I am Sergey.
We will see you next week for Nosferatu.